Hello everybody. Before I start today's story, I want to show you a couple of pictures. The first is a grid. Take a look at this grid, and while you're looking at it, try moving your eyes across the grid from one direction to another. Move your gaze across the grid and see what happens to those little white dots in between the squares. Did you see black or gray dots appear? That's an optical illusion, and it's caused just by the way your brain processes visual information. Now here's a second picture. It looks like it's moving. You see movement all through this picture. It's really freaky. But the truth is, this is not a video. This is a stationary picture. If you look at just one tiny part of the picture at a time, you'll see it freeze and hold still. And you'll realize it's just a trick that your eyes are playing on you. The reason I showed you this is I wanted to give you a little impression of what it might be like to have dyslexia. Now, there's nothing wrong with a person with dyslexia. Their brain processes information a little differently from other brains, and they see these letters that they're trying to interpret and trying to decode the same way you see an optical illusion. The letters might go 3D on them. They might flip vertically, horizontally on their axis. They might actually look like they're floating off the page or sliding off the side. When they try to focus harder, it can get worse, like it does with the dot picture. Now, a long time back, people didn't understand what dyslexia was, or that people could have different types of brains that were wired to specialize in different things. Paul Orfalea was a child at that time, before people really understood what dyslexia was, and he struggled so hard in school as a result. People didn't understand why he couldn't learn his alphabet. He flunked second grade. I mean, he felt so bad at flunking second grade. What kid flunks second grade? But he just couldn't learn the alphabet. Imagine trying to learn what a bee looks like if a bee flips over when you're looking at it, or decides to hop upside down, or maybe float off the page. Trying to decode the information was just impossible for him. He could not figure it out. Now, his second grade teacher had held him back to try to teach him again, but his third grade teachers didn't know what to do with him at all, and they sent him to a school that was supposed to be for children who were incapable of learning. Luckily, someone gave him an IQ test while he was there, and he scored 130, which is really, really good, and they realized he didn't belong there at all, and sent him back to a regular school. But Paul still couldn't read, and he still didn't have the assistance of anybody that he needed to help him. What Paul did have was an amazing ability with people, and what Paul did have was humility. He was able to ask other people for help. Not everyone learns this. As Paul would say, a lot of children in school believe they have to be good at everything. That's what they're taught. They get grades for every subject, and they're supposed to be good at every single subject. In the real world, it isn't like that. People aren't like that. We're designed to specialize, and specialize is exactly what we do when we become adults. But Paul had to make his way through school with the assistance of other students and the families of those students. And he finally found a tutor who was able to teach him how to read more or less through phonics. Of course, it's still incredibly difficult, but he was able to graduate high school, and he was able to apply to a college. And he got in, and he was able to take classes. As he was taking classes, he came upon an unmet need. People needed to be able to complete their projects. They needed to be able to make copies of their work. They needed to be able to finish it up and get it ready to go. And there were not very many places for them to do that. And he had this great idea. He could open a copy business. He didn't understand the machines, and he didn't understand the reading and writing stuff that went into them. It just wasn't his forte, but he saw a need that he could fill. And he was determined to do that. And he, because of his grade school and high school and junior high experiences, he knew that other people could probably do a lot of the work, maybe better than he could. And he had no problem delegating, and he had no problem inspiring other people to help him. And he was an expert at seeing the big picture. He could see the gestalt, all of the ways things would fit together to solve the problem for the customer and make money for him and for his friends. His college friends called him Kinko because of his blonde curly hair. He decided to call the shop Kinko's. It became, over time, a $2 billion a year business. And all because Paul had the humility to recognize what he was good at, what he wasn't good at, and ask for help. And because he had the ability to inspire other people to want to help him. Now, in the Doctrine and Covenants, I believe it's 46:11, it explains that not everyone is given every gift. Different people are given different gifts. And when we put those all together and work together, we can accomplish amazing things. As Paul said, he learned when he made friends that 1 + 1 = 3. We are greater together than we are apart. When you add all of our abilities together, we are far more amazing than we could be alone. And as he also mentioned, this is something that maybe you don't learn if you're a straight A student. Maybe this is something you don't learn right away if life hasn't thrown you a few curveballs. So we can be grateful for the curveballs we've received that have taught us to work with other people and how to rely on other people. We are greater together than we are apart. Have a fantastic day, guys. Bye-bye.